Happy Friday morning, Mountaineer fans. It's Chris, it's Mike, it's earsports.com, taking up 3 to 5 minutes of your morning. Today, we're talking basketball. Again, no questions from the Q&A bag. We covered all of those in the podcast earlier this week, but there was something else that I saw on the message board that I wanted to talk to Mike about. Someone said in the reaction to last Saturday's upset win over Texas that Pat Sumnick was the only player on the roster who was, I believe he phrased it as, punching above his weight class. And I would take that to mean meeting and exceeding his expectations. Mike, is that true? Is that false? Is there somebody else that might be a candidate for that or might be a candidate for that moving forward?
He's a leading candidate for sure. I'd have a hard time holding it against Jesse Edwards. He's not playing right now, so that doesn't help. I don't think he was under the bar of expectations, especially when you look at the surroundings. He was dealing with a pretty difficult situation and was playing well in spite of all that. Pat Sumnick, though, he was like the guy that you were thinking about before in a different light, where Josh Heiler mentioned they had like seven, maybe eight Big 12 players in their roster. If you did the math, he was not in that conversation. Chris, where are they without him right now? Right? Granted, okay, they're not doing very well, but they'd be even worse off without him. They probably would not have won the game against Texas last weekend. So you have to wonder about that. But here's a guy that's a junior college All-American that didn't play hardly at all last year. He played a little bit in his first Division One season. This doesn't make sense right now when you look at, three times in 4 games getting a career high in scoring. But also it's the personality of the team. That's what they lacked, and he gave it to him. And I think back to what Rodney Terry said after Saturday's game against Texas, that he was the one guy who went in and played physical. And when a guy does that, everybody else looks at it and says, I can do that too. And the team was missing that. And Summick was one of the guys who articulated it. So that would be the answer. I'd watch Edwards for sure when he comes back, because I think Sumnick's role right now makes it easier to transition Edwards back in. You have an inside guy keeping the thing warm right now. But also, I think Kobe Johnson, when he's gotten a chance, and that's been fleeting, I understand, has given them what they've needed. He hasn't been above where he's been before. He's been above like a replacement level that they needed. He gives them some defense. He moves the ball a little bit, can score. They've had like gaps, vacancies in that backup point guard spot. Um, Sleeper candidate right there.
Somebody else I'm just thinking about, just a long shot. Noah Farrakhan. I mean, we've seen that he's been able to slash the basket. I've very much been open about how his defense is lacking on the perimeter. But he showed last game that he was able to kind of play defense a little bit. He was able to rebound the basketball. He was able to contribute in other ways other than scoring. If he can continue to do that moving forward, that can really help boost this team as a whole. And he is somebody that becomes more than just a kind of microwave off the bench kind of guy, which I think is what a lot of people thought he would be when he got back.